Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the Ukrainians claim that somehow the Russians want to send a message, I don't know what kind of message that would be, to the G20 summit by conducting a massive strike during that summit. Well, I don't know if the Russians will be very interested in sending a message or just blowing up whatever they deem necessary to be blown up. Anyway, this article comes from New Voice of Ukraine. It's from November 12th, today, and this is the title. Ukrainian Air Force says Russia may launch another mass missile strike during G20 summit. Are they going to hit Indonesia or something? Russian troops may launch another mass strike against Ukraine during the G20 summit, which is to be held on the Indonesian island of Bali on November 15 and 16. Air Force spokesman Yuri Ignat said on national television. I'm quoting, "We all know about upcoming events such as the G20 leaders summit. They really like to devote a provocation to such dates," Ignat said. Okay, well, we'll see. And if not, then I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to fire you for false information and false intelligence. And I'm going to also request the resignation of the guys who informed you, which is the intelligence community of your country. So Ignat, remember, you got what? 3 days, and if 3 and 4, right? 3 and 4 days, 3 to 4 days to prove that what you said is true. Might be true, might not be true, but you gave us the information, okay? Anyway, but he says they really like to devote a provocation. All right, well, they like, again, weasel talk. Ignat said Russia was accumulating weapons reserves for new mass strikes. They cannot afford to launch big attacks as often as before, as they are running low on missiles, he said. And I'm quoting, "Those missiles that they had before the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, they had been producing and stocking up on them for years, for tens of years, let's put it this way. A lot of Grad and other, not missiles, but shells they had it from the Soviet times, not Russian after 1991. But hey, you're right about that one. It was reported on November 10 that Russia was preparing a new mass missile and suicide drone attack against Ukraine. According to Ignat, Russia has been saving up weapons for several months before the October mass strikes." Okay. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned that Russians may target energy and crucial infrastructure again. Their previous attacks resulted in rolling and emergency blackouts throughout the country, especially in Kiev and nearby regions. According to Zelensky, 40% of Ukraine's energy infrastructure facilities have been destroyed. Well, it seems like the Russians ran out of missiles a long time ago. I think the first time when they reported such a thing was in April. No, it was in April. In mid-April, I made a video on that, and I calculated when this guy said, well, they're done, the missiles are almost done, depleted, they are almost done. I said, okay, almost done, I give you 80% done, which I could give you 99% done, and it would have worked to make my case better. But I said, you know what, I give you that, like in chess, I give you forehand, you do 2-3 moves ahead of time, or I take a few pieces from the board so you can easily beat me. That would show how good I am. The same here, I'm good because I give these guys 80%. I said 80%, I could have taken 99. So I argued from a very poor defense line because I knew that that's bullshit. And then April, I made a calculation that if they're done already in it was about 6 weeks or so since the invasion started. I said, okay, if 6 weeks with the replenishing, with all that, I gave them about, being generous, about 2 to 3 weeks to be done, right? I said 20%, you fucked up already 80 in 6 weeks. I will give you 2 to 3 weeks to blow up the last 20%, which I said, okay, that would be mid May it was, or something like this. Nothing happened. On the contrary, in May they came with another thing that they're almost done. And I calculated again. I calculated that it was going to be June. Nothing happened in June. They came in June again, and again nothing happened. Now they come again, and they're done. And nothing happened. I'm not saying they're not running low. They are. But these guys are all, oh my God, they're almost done. Really? Okay, they might be, but I don't trust you. I don't believe anything you say, because you proved that you were wrong so many times, willingly or not willingly. But you know, in your job as an informant, intelligence officer, and it's not only one, but you have to come with the information, and when you provide something, that something must be verified very well before you put it over there, unless it's disinformation, which it was. So in this case, when I say, well, the Russians were piling up what? What do you mean? Oh, they were bringing stuff on the front? Probably. Why? Well, ask yourselves for the Kerch Bridge reason. So anyway, do they prepare something? Yeah. Is it related with G20? That's just a, just an idea. I don't have any evidence to support this claim that the Russians are, oh, and we're going to do this. And if they do it, what would be the point? What would be the signal? I don't see any relation between one or the other one with the other one. But anyway, these guys are talking bullshit, obviously, and I'm not saying it can't be an attack and mass missile attack that these guys are saying the Russians are preparing. But I don't think it has any connection with G20. Why would it be? Why would it be a connection between these two? Anyway, let them be, and I'm waiting for this for the Russians to run out of their ammunition, which I think they will not run out of ammunition pretty soon, because remember, always put this in the context of the Second World War, and remember the Second World War, how much power they had, land lease and all that provided, but there was money and just trucks. That's always provided by the Americans. It was not weapons, as far as I remember. The Russians, they're Soviets, and now the Russians build whatever they build. So why can't they do it right now? They didn't receive steel from the Americans or anything else. So they still have it was an war industry at that time, which is not here. But the war here is not the same as that one over there, obviously. There was then. So I don't think they're going to run out of ammunition and shells and all that pretty soon. I think they calculated this to go more than... remember, this is just a war against Ukraine and NATO, not Ukraine, NATO, United States providing this and that. I mean, that's just that. Imagine that these guys, the Russians, have... plans to sustain a war for years against a bigger, greater enemy. So don't you think they are ready? I think they're much more ready than for whatever they 20 HIMARS and 3 Caesar howitzers or whatever. That's just a joke what these guys are telling us. The problem is the Russians, when they want it, they just pushed a button. In October, they didn't do it in January, in February or March to blow up the infrastructure. They could have done it then. They didn't do it. Why? They were stupid or something? No, because it's a control war, controlled between the Russians, the Americans, and the Russians on the territory of Ukraine, with Ukrainians dying, and foreign fighters, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them over there. And I think I know from, for instance, McGregor, the retired colonel, he said, and it's only one source, but it's more than that, there are NATO troops over there, and even the Americans stated there are troops over there to make sure that they're not active, they're not combatants, they just are are verifying where the weapons are going, the ones now on October, they said. They are just over there, I think it was November, beginning of November though, when the Americans said, well, there's some American military over there, just making sure that weapons that we send over there are distributed to the right people. In November, okay, kind of like 9 months late or so. And do you think those guys are just walking around? Oh, let me see here. Oh, nothing. Then oh, let me see here. Nothing. Then do you think that's the way it's gonna be? They're not gonna pop up. I doubt, seriously doubt it. 99% doubt it. Anyway, we'll find out. I'm waiting for this massive. Not waiting like, oh my God, let's see. No, I'm. It's gonna happen. But I don't think it's related to the G20. So if not, I'm waiting for you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.